What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and today we have a market watch for all you guys to enjoy. As you know, this is part of the channel staples. We do 3 a week. It kind of gives you a good synopsis of what's going up, down, things to watch out for. So hopefully you guys hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for stuff. So without further ado, let's dive in the video and talk about it. So guys, if you want to help support the channel with no extra cost, please use the affiliate link down below. It costs you nothing to support the channel, and it's just a great way of doing it while you're checking out cards that you are always ready going to be paying for. So without further ado, let's get into it. Guys, if you don't know, I use TCG Market News. This website is linked in the description, so you guys can go check this out. But this gives you a good understanding of winners or losers for the week. And I think it's great value to kind of just get a good understanding if you're especially new into the card game and you don't know what you're doing much. This definitely helps out, but you can create custom watch lists of your whole, kit and caboodle, right? Everything you own can be basically put into a watch list, and you can watch your investment go up, down, and left and right all you want. So just something to think about long-term wise, just to see when it's kind of good time to sell and stuff. I think it's a great tool. So first off, we have World Conveyance booster boxes at 118. I expect maybe we'll see 97 to be where this box is going to land, if not a little bit lower. The set doesn't have a lot of high value for new deck styles besides having, Medusamon coming in. You have, and then what else is the big deck that you're, oh yeah, Applemon, and then Heroes. Heroes isn't going to be a real deck, to be honest with you. I think it's going to struggle a little bit. You're going to be focusing on using it as support for everybody else. And I think all the support is great for all their individual decks, but when you combine them all, it becomes a real hodgepodge of trying to figure out how to make that deck work. And it's not something too scary, but I think World Conveyance, Convergence is just one of those sets that will long-term just be a good support set. It definitely feels like a BT12 set where it's got a lot of good impactful stuff supported for all the old stuff. And it's good to get those from time to time. It really does boost the power level of a lot of your decks. Now, we take a look here. We definitely should check out some of the booster boxes and everything like that. So first off, we have Voice versus Royal Knight booster cases. They're at $850. They have been moving up a little bit, but to be honest with you, at least with the Royal Knights set, shop singles. If you take a look at it, you have Omnis and Gallants. If you were to take that into consideration, you get some decent value, but because of the alts in the set, it definitely adds in some great tech value to you that I think even just investing into a case would actually be beneficial, because this hitting you makes you at least one of your boxes back. This one hitting you makes you one of your boxes back. And usually you kind of would get both of them in the older cases like this. There are times that you would only get one. So it's just part of the gamble, right? And especially if you've been a Royal Knights fan, I think you definitely would make, if you're not looking to max the deck, you could definitely make a good chunk of your change, especially if you hold on to the Craniumons, and the Contouruses. If you hold on to those, you'll definitely, when they get their next wave of support, I think the X antibodies versions, if they are played in the deck in any capacity, these things skyrocket, right? I know that Royal Knights is a little expensive if you didn't get them right away, but definitely you could buy the singles. But if you're looking to just get that crack pack opening fix, this is definitely probably a decent set to do so. Let's just even look at a booster box. They're at $74, so going up to 80. They've been on an upward climb. When they were in the 60s, we're in a better spot, but I think even just getting a case, you would have a better shot at most of this stuff. Now, Chain of Liberations booster boxes, these are another set that I think are pretty decently priced. I wouldn't be screaming to go spend crazy amount of money on them, but there will be eventual support for Dino. There will be eventual support for Pyramidi. There will be eventual support for Skittymon that eventually lead into these very powerful decks. and we know this from histories. And, you know, there's also the Gallant and the Medievals that you're just trying to hope and gamble on. So maybe it might be worth just investing onto cases for this set. It's about 1,000. I don't know if that's worth it. If it was like 800, I would say, yeah, 1,000's a little much in my opinion. Like even just 900 would have been decent for a case, but nah, I wouldn't pay 1,000. Nah, there's just you're gambling on too much on a good hit on a good day. And again, I'm not big on the gamble boxes. Sure, go for it. If you really want to gamble and get some stuff for Liberators, especially if you want to build anything in the set, you know, gamble it. 9 out of 10, you definitely want to buy singles. But to be honest with you, there is some good, decent value in just the box alone. You know, Sakuyamon X's are $2. You know, Dinomons are 6s. You know, an alt Sakuyamon gets you 20 bucks there. You get 3 alts in the set, which again, the only time it really sucks, and then you get the 2 foil cards. So I think you get a good decent amount of value that could at least get half your box back. Hitting a Medieval Gallant instantly gets you your box. Gallimon X gets you half your box instantly. So there's not too much terrible value. I mean, hitting this just gets you almost your full case back, and then this one's about half your case. So, yeah. Blast Ace booster box is also another set to kind of just keep an eye on. Like, at the end of the day, there were some really good singles that came across from this. Luga, Pals, you know, Luga, War Greymons, Angemon. You know, these cards were very expensive in BT 14, but as time went on, they dropped. I mean, like even Satsuki, if you guys wait Satsuki out, I think this card will skyrocket a bit once we kind of get another wave of, you know, the Commandramon support, aka the Digipolice. So as long as there's more support to come, you can definitely get some decent value out of it, but it's up to you how you want to invest your money. I think if you guys are getting in a pack fix, I think Blast Ace is a decent one to get. But if you could take a look at Being Observer booster boxes, they're up to $200. Yes, we know why, because let's be honest, the big boy hits are in this set. You have Dino B, you have Pyildras, you have Rapidmon X, you have Magna X. Like, this set has a lot of value if you hit correctly. I mean, you could make a little bit of value or even pump up, but even like these cards down here are starting to move, and this set is a very powerful set, to be honest with you. But even taking a look at Dimensional Phase, this set had some major issues. First off, if you hit Arena, you at least get half your box back. Then you had the Mirais in there that were okay. Mirage definitely tanked, so you're not really picking up for this. Galactic's in the set, so yeah, there's a lot of potential, but the problem came down to you really had struggle getting rares across the board. But I mean, up to you. I really don't think this is a set you really want to jump into, but it's a set nonetheless that has some great older support that if you guys are fixing for that pack hit, it might be worth your investment. I don't think 125 is where you want to be. If you can find them like in the 90s, I would say definitely snag them. Now, Exceed Apocalypse boosters. This one has some good hits across the board, right? This one had the Angelwolmon, Metal Guru, and Leviathan X's, which are very great cards in their own right, and I think has great, and the Gatos. Like even just on the top end here, you definitely, if you hit both of these, you made a good chunk of your box back. Hitting this was decent. You know, this set had a lot going for it in the best way possible, and I think we'll have to see long term if this set kind of pops off more, if more and more support comes through. I think at the end of the day, you guys need product. Always singles are probably better long term, and always is, but for those people that want to have those pack cracking addictions fixed, this is kind of where you go. Now, you also have Liberator booster boxes. This is another big one that's always going to be very challenging, right? I mean, if I remember correctly, just having Hexablow in there, hitting that was fantastic. Having Metal Dramon is a good hit. You know, Cinderellamon's already climbing. So taking a look across the board, you actually hit some decent amount of value, but is it worth the gamble for $133? If you told me maybe $100, sure, but I don't think 133 is where we want to go with sealed. But let's get into the singles as you guys are normally here for. Let's talk about some of the low ends that kind of just have some good gains for you. Psychmon New Awakening BTO 8. This one sells at a consistent rate that I've been seeing, you know, 24 cents, 45 cents. You know, if all of a sudden the meta shifts to having hunters and Crossheart being like best deck again, you're gonna see this card actually pop off more. Now we do have, you know, 2 cents, 5 cents. Gazes are selling pretty decently as well. I mean, this card is always going to come in and out of the meta. You know, $1.27 is not bad. Europe side looking like $1.11, $1.40. Nene alts are at $38, climbing. You guys have this. This is just a good time to flip these. There's no reason for you not to make money. Europe side 13 to 15 euros. VMon pre-release stamps from Dimensional Phase are at 15s to 20s. Just VMon hype in general. Europe side looking like 2 to 3 euros for the stamp. Metal Tyrannomon limited foil Chain of Liberations are up to 10s to 12s. Again, great card. This is probably going to see some play in Mugen, but just be ready to watch this card carefully. Europe side looking like 5 to 7 euros. Agumon X antibody alternate arts are at $19.70. Yeah, this card is overdue for a new glow up. I mean, the black version was okay, but we need a new Agumon X dual color, to be honest with you, with a decent inheritable. But all in all, though, you have Agumon X just chilling up in here. This card will probably go up in future, but just watch it carefully if we don't. This is like a gamble, right? If we're going to see new support. It just would be great to see War Greymon back into the fray. 22 to 30 euros. Demi Mera is definitely for your ghosts. This one's from the BT20 set. This one, you should make sure you get your copies if you guys plan on holding long term for this thing. It's a great card long term because a good ghosty deck could pop up, and you know, once that does, boom, this card's gonna get expensive. As long as this is what you want to keep using for your egg for the ghosty deck. So it's just something worthwhile to keep in mind. But you also have I forget. My brain stopped. Looking at that, sometimes it goes. That train of thought went wee. Just 50 cents to 70 cents. Now, Hagurumon from Seed Apocalypse BT15s are at $2 a pop. If you guys have this sitting around in your bulk, probably a good time to move it. Europe side looking like 2 cents to 9 cents, especially because Mugen. Now, Venmon, Dimensional Phase BT11, still holding strong in this $3 range. I don't expect this not to... Oh, wow. It's actually even past $3. It's going up to 4 to 5s. If you guys have this sitting around in your bulk, it's probably a good time to move it. Especially if you've already have your quantity you want. You know, 10 to $1.20. Gallantmon pre-release stamps. I expect this one to possibly fall down. It's been going down a little by little, but players might not be wanting to play this card as much anymore because of the new promo that's coming out, and that kind of leads to something different, a different style of play. 1 euro to 2 euros. Regulusmon, this card probably will see a small dip eventually just because the new Regulus wants to play differently, but it's always good to see where cards are going. But if you guys have this, maybe it's a good time to move it just in case you're not planning on playing Gamma. But Europe side looking like 2 to 3 euros. Mother D Reaper finally coming down. We're down to 16s. This thing was holding strong into the 18s. Good to see it come down just because players have fallen off and not a lot of players, and people were paying 28s, I forgot. But yeah, that's crazy. Europe side looking like 7 to 10 euros. Lord Nightmon release special booster 2.0 are at, this is just the stamp for this. We're looking at $9 a pop. Make sure you get your copies just in case Lord Nightmon does some crazy shenanigans. Europe side looking like 90 cents to €1 30 cents. Tigeru, alts from across time BT12, starting to move up, guys. If you guys have this and you've been not wanting to play Hunters ever again and you had it maxed, time to flip this. There's no reason for you not to make some cash. Europe side looking like 8 to 9 euros. Nokia Box Topper Battle Omni. This card's been climbing up, and that's just because of the hype for none other than the Cyber Sleuth set coming out soon. But we're looking like 7s to 8s, and we know that's going to be related to Agumon and Gabumon, and most likely there will be some sort of way of searching out the Nokia. So make sure you get your copies sooner than later. Europe side looking like 3 to 4 euros. Marcuses are going to be punching through the meta. The deck is pretty solid and really good. So, I mean, taking a look here, we're at 3 to $2. Europe side looking like 20 cents to 30 cents. VMon first anniversary box toppers are at $3.23 to 6s. Wow. If you guys have these are just good time to offload them if people are willing to pick them up. And they have been buying them left and right still. So, worth the investment. Europe side looking like 4 euros to 5 euros. Tyrannomon Judge packs, Wave 1 are up to 10s. Just wait this one out. There's going to be a lot more hitting the market as the next couple months go through. Europe side looking like 6 to 8 euros. Tai Kamiya BT1 is at $3 a pop. If you guys have this, again, there's been multiple printings of this card by now that are foiled and stuff. If you guys want, offload these. There's just no real reason to hold on long term. Europe side looking like 2 to 3 euros. Imperial Digimon Fighter Mode Ace has been seeing some meta play in red, purple Imperial and green. Blue Imperial has been doing well as well. So if you guys have this, people are picking these up at a decent rate. 20 bucks seems to be the more mover. If you go 20s, I think you'll see some more movement. Europe side looking like 14 to 16 euros. Cody and TK alts are up to $28, guys. A lot of hype behind the speculation of possible support for like Armadillo and Pata. It's just overdue for some new wave, but maybe somebody's figuring out something with this deck. We'll have to see. Europe side looking like 5 to 8 euros. Beelzemon Infernal Extension EX06 are at $2.50, up to 5s. So if you guys have this sitting around in your bulk, definitely move it. Europe side looking like 10 cents, 20 cents. TKs from the first set, it's 8. Oh, from Release Special Booster 1.0, this is the foil version. They're sitting at $8.50. If you guys have this, move it. There's no reason not to make some decent money. And again, Resurgent Booster was one of those sets that if you got them at like $30s to $40, you actually made some decent money out of it. Anything less, more than that, you weren't making money. Europe side looking like 3 to 5 euros. Davis's from the Release Special Booster 1.5, they're at, you know, $8 a pop. If you guys are sitting on this and you have the foily version, I definitely think just make your money's worth, right? Europe side looking like 4 to 5 euros. Omnimon X antibodies are at $40 a pop. Again, this is another card that just makes the deck a little more expensive, but it's a great card nonetheless. Europe side looking like 30 to 35 euros. Medieval Gallants are up to 91 to 94s. God, this card is expensive. But again, super meta relevant. You got 60 to 68 euros. Digimon Special Release Pack 2025s. Again, whoever said this was going to go to 20 bucks was wrong. This thing is holding strong in the 90s, 80 range. It's going to take some time for this thing to dip. Europe side looking like 35 to 42s. Tyrannomon X antibodies definitely cooling off. Again, Dynamon hasn't done much recently, but just something to keep an eye out on, especially with the reprint coming. This will also tank. So if you guys are just waiting for a better version, I think just flip this now. And just wait for the October reprint. Europe side looking like 3 to 4 euros. Metal Garurumon from BTO2 alts. We haven't talked about one of these in forever. You know, since the conception of the game, I think. But it's up to almost $10. So if you guys been sitting on this thing in your bulk for the longest time, God, it's time to move this thing. There's no reason for you not to make some decent money off of this thing. Europe side 6 to 7 euros. Now Paroxymon textures are at $12 a pop to 13s. Again, the Gamamon deck has some potential, so we're gonna have to see if Paroxymon will stay at 2 in the list or will it be a one of. Europe side looking like 7 to 10 euros. Magnamon X antibodies are up to $59, holding strong in this range. God, I wish we probably snagged them at the 38s, but yeah, deck's really solid. Europe side looking like 24 to 30 euros. Now, you do have Guillemon X antibodies are doing some shenanigans. On the Europe side more, it's more of a deal, but these are the older version from BT09. I don't think these are worth really collecting. We haven't seen many sales, but yeah, players might want to play it as a 1 to 2 of, especially maybe in Durobrick, but if Durobrick actually pops off more, Europe side looking like 2 to 5 euros. But all guys, hopefully you enjoyed the Market Watch. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.